Jake Paul just completely schooled Mike Perry. So as we all know, Jake Paul versus Mike Perry took place last night in Tampa. And Jake Paul, surprisingly, in my opinion anyway, was able to stop Mike Perry. Now, I did not see a stoppage on the cards in this fight, to be honest. I did think I had thought Jake Paul would have been able to drop Mike Perry, yes. But I thought this would have been a really difficult fight for Jake Paul. One where he would have had to show his heart, dig deep. And I thought he would have maybe just edged it out, by winning on the judges' scorecards. But that just wasn't the case. Jake Paul put on a really, really good performance in there. It's clear to see that Jake Paul is improving every fight. Say what you want about Jake Paul. You can say about his performances, the level of opponents. But this guy is improving in there. He dropped Mike Perry early on in the first round. He then went on to drop Mike Perry in the second round. And comfortably won every single round of this fight. And then was able to find the finish in the sixth round, as you can see on screen right here. When he put Mike Perry down in the sixth round, Mike Perry was done for. Mike Perry was busted up. He had taken a lot of damage up to that point. He did get back to his feet, in fairness to him, but the referee done the right thing, in my opinion. You see when he stands up, he's wobbling all over the show. It would have been only a matter of time at that point if the referee had have let it go on until Jake Paul really flatline KO'd the guy. But yeah, like I said, great performance for Jake Paul. Obviously, he was expected to win this, let's be honest. Jake Paul, say what you want about the guy, but he has really dedicated himself to the sport of boxing, and you can see in every fight he's improving. Now, I'm pretty sure he does have a newish team around him now, but I feel like when you watch Jake Paul fight, there's something that improves every fight, if you know what I mean. Like, his jab was better in this fight, in my opinion. His combination, his punch selection. I think he did kind of rush the finish a bit here, to be honest, as you can see in the clip. When he comes in and Mike Perry's against the rope, he does stand a bit square on it. A higher level boxer, would probably be able to find the counter there. But again, that's just me nitpicking. Jake Paul done a good job in there against a very game opponent. Mike Perry always comes to fight. The guy is vicious in there. He's the king of violence. He doesn't stop. He shows hard in there. He'll make you dig deep. But it just wasn't enough. Jake Paul, yes, was clearly bigger than Mike Perry in there. As you can see in the clip, it was clear that Jake Paul was much heavier than Mike Perry going in there. But yeah, really did not go how I expected. Mike Perry really offered Jake Paul nothing in there. He really offered Jake Paul nothing, which is surprising to me because, like I said, I thought Mike Perry would have had a good account of himself. Now, I don't think Mike Perry should be embarrassed by this loss whatsoever. The guy came into a sport that he isn't in. Yes, he does do bare knuckle, but it's so different from traditional boxing. He took this fight on short notice as well, in a weight class that he doesn't fight in, against a guy who weighs much more than him in Jake Paul. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, to be honest. It's a great payday for Mike Perry. Yes, he lost, but it gets his name out there even more. People look him up and see the stuff he's done in bare knuckle FC. I don't think this is the end of Mike Perry's career in combat, to be honest. I think Mike Perry still has a lot of other stuff to give. Obviously, after the fight now, Jake Paul did make certain call-outs. He called out Alex Pereira. Don't really want to waste time on that because it's just a nothing fight. There's nothing going to come of that. Then he did talk about the Mike Tyson fight. The Mike Tyson fight obviously is coming up in November. I think he gets rid of Mike Tyson earlier than what he done to Mike Perry, to be honest. People might not agree with me on that one, but I think Jake Paul takes care of Mike Tyson in like 2 rounds, which is just insane to say that Jake Paul is going to beat Mike Tyson. Like, what world do we live in now that is actually going to be a reality? But yeah, then we go on to Mike Perry. After this, Mike Perry ended up... Well, not Mike Perry, sorry. Let me just get them up here so I can read them word for word. After this, Conor McGregor went to Twitter to tweet out about this fight. He said, "Hey Mike, you're released and you can go and complete." Hey Mike, you're released and you can go and compete in your smelly, dirty boxing championship thing. The smell of it. Good luck. You're fired. Talking about obviously Mike Perry after the loss. He then went on this whole rant and rave about Jake Paul as well. I just can't be fucked reading that, to be honest. That's a bad look for Conor McGregor in my opinion. I'm a McGregor fan. I think Conor McGregor will probably end up being the downfall of Bare Knuckle FC, to be honest. Now, Mike Perry did come out and say he's an owner of Bare Knuckle FC as well, so he can't be sacked. But yeah, just saying that, I thought Conor McGregor would have been a good addition to Bare Knuckle FC, but just what's happened recently with him saying Mike Perry is the self-proclaimed king of violence when really he won that title in Bare Knuckle FC. And then to come out and say you're fired because he lost to Jake Paul. It's just a shitty move, to be honest. And the more I think about it, it was always going to be an issue with McGregor because the man's ego won't allow him to promote anybody above him or give anybody credit. Obviously, he has his issue, with Jake Paul. He went on a rant about Jake Paul, saying stuff about him. But like Mike Perry said, why don't you fight him then? I don't want to see Conor McGregor fight Jake Paul because I do think Jake Paul would beat Conor McGregor in a boxing fight, which is crazy, but I think Jake Paul would beat him. Which is actually insane to think that Jake Paul would beat these guys. What the fuck? Like, what simulation do we live in? But yeah, nonetheless, great win for Jake Paul. What's next for him is obviously Mike Tyson. After the Mike Tyson fight, the guy does say he wants to be a world champion, so I would like to see him enter in there. Now, Jake Paul's in a weird position where he fought lower level professional boxers before this, and people shit all over him for that. Then he fights the likes of Mike Perry, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, big names in combat sports, and people shit on that as well because they're not actual boxers. So Jake Paul is in a weird position where he's never really going to win, to be honest. But I think after the Mike Tyson fight, a great fight for him to call out would be Tommy Fury to right that wrong in his career. If not, maybe look at low-level, British-level fighters, lower people in the rankings. I don't know. I don't think Jake Paul's a great boxer. I think he is average, but the guy is improving, and he does have a great team around him, clearly. I don't know if Jake Paul will become champion, to be honest, but just talking about his performance there, great performance. The guy has a good resume now of combat sport legends. Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, Nate Diaz. Mike Perry isn't really a combat sports legend, but he is a big name. He's on there now. I don't know. Mike Tyson's obviously next for Jake Paul. I think he smokes him inside 2 rounds, to be honest. What's next for Mike Perry? Darren Till. I like to see the Darren Till boxing fight, to be honest. 2 big names. Think a funny build-up. Mike Perry could then potentially right the wrong. Or Mike Perry, Nate Diaz would be a good one. I don't know. I don't know what will be next for Mike Perry, to be honest. But let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.